This
That means
conference will now be recorded.
we're looking for the past 1 hour and we're trying to change it to dates. So this is the file name that we have loaded, and this is the stage, file name, last load, timestamp, count. It gives you all the details of this particular thing. Okay. So let's say config PM. We got the history. Something the load history, there's another function. If you go and look at it, load something gets to reset. I forgot the details. PM2. This. So let's go and load some data on this.
Shekhar sir, your voice is very low.
No, I'm talking a little low. I'm
Okay, fine, sir. Okay.
actually working out, talking aloud in myself. I'm not talking to the folks. So we are trying to do some activity to show them that what if a table gets truncated, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. Use schema. Yes, schema. Okay. This I forgot to 15 rows loaded. I go here, check for the load history. Current timestamp is successful, and this information schema has all the data. But this load history should something gets when you truncate the table, right? Something gets reset. I'm not sure which one. Current no. Something is wrong here. So this is the query that normally helps out to identify the load history. When we have loaded the table and all this, this load history function keeps track of all the metadata of this. So I'm not sure why this is not working. Guys, can you just make a note of it and then remind me so that I'll check into it. I don't want to waste more time on this. Okay. And we have seen the result scan function, what we can do, and then try to get all the results and all this stuff. Okay. And then these are some of the load specifications. When you're trying to load, so the CSV, TSV, the best database file size should be 100 MB to 10 MB to 100 MB is the best file size if you're trying to load it into Snowflake. And there is a Snowflake question as well. So what is the best honey sweet spot size of a particular file if it is in, and then he gives 3 to 4 options, and then one of them is 60 MB to 100 MB. So this holds good. So if you have a big file, right, running them in parallel would really help you out. Okay. And before getting into this particular thing, right, we'll just see some activity using unloading pattern, and then we'll come back to the. So now we have seen the data loading part of it, right? Unloading. So loading is importing, unloading is exporting. If you're trying to export your data, what happens? So after the exporting is done, then we'll talk about the performance aspects of the data aspects of the data ingestion. Okay. So if you look at this diagram, right, we have copy out of the a copy into is the same, but we are copying into internal stage. Previously, we are copying into the stage. Now we are copying into the internal stage or table stage or is a stage, and this the reverse of the picture. Previously, it was upside down. Now it's upside down. We are exporting, right? And the same thing, location of files. But the important thing that you have to remember is, right, file format that it can support is only three. This is a Snowflake question, this is an interview question, and all this stuff. The file formats when you're trying to export, you can have JSON, Parquet, and CSV. There are three of them. Okay, and you have this GZBG2, broadly Z standard for the compression mechanism. Okay, the important thing to remember is CSV, JSON, Parquet, three of them. Okay, and bulk unloading, they say bulk loading, right? We using the copy command, we can use bulk loading. That is called bulk loading, batch loading a bulk file and all this stuff. SQL query based bulk unloading to multiple files, unloading onto AWS S3, GCP, Azure. Okay. So default unloaded file size. Whenever you're trying to unload into your file, right? So the default file size is 16 MB max. It gives you a maximum of 16 MB. Okay. Max file size and cloud storage. When you're trying to unload onto a particular cloud storage at 5 GB for AWS and then 265 for GCP. Sorry, for 5 GB for AWS and GCP, 268 MB for Azure. Okay. Using the copy command, export the data. Using the get command, get the data if you want to get into your local file system. Okay. So
It's more than 16 MB. What happens?
no, you can still get it. The max file size that you can create is 5 GB. And if you are trying to split it into in smaller files, right, 16 MB is the one that it generates.
Okay.
Can we compress the files more than if it is more than 16 MB?
The file that you are going to get out is only compressed for. They would have already, they would have already compressed. I'll show you an example. You'll understand what I'm talking about. So copy into the table stage, result underscore, and if you put underscore, right, it generates the name of the file with this particular one. We'll see an example. File is format name my CSV. This is into the naming stage. User stage by query. If you want to have a query and then user unloading, like select chart from my customer, and you can have transformation inside this select statement and do this is the free form that I was referring, right? Yesterday we were able to write that down, but that was an unloading. File underscore format is equal to type is equal to null if, and we'll talk about nulls as well today. Okay. Unloading with query transformation, the same thing. Select chart form. You can transform whatever the ways, and then you can get the data out of this one. Okay. And validation mode is going to return rows. You can look at this particular data set, how this particular data set looks like. Okay, we'll see all these examples. So if you can still get out into an S3 bucket, unload into an S3 bucket, a file gets generated automatically onto your S3 bucket. Okay. and then you can create an external stage and then push into external stage which points to your bucket. You can directly point to your location or you can directly push into you. Okay. Unloading table into an external stage. This we'll do after when we get into the cloud integration part of it, right? We'll do this one. Okay. Sorry. Generating single multiple files by max file size. Copy into this particular stage. If single is equal to true means it generates a single file. If single is equal to false means it generates multiple files. And by default, it's single is equal to false. Okay. Validating unloading data. So copy into table. Validation mode is equal to return row. It just shows you the data set. We'll see these examples using validation mode, return rows, how it works. Okay. Unloading table to JSON format. So there is a function called object construct, and you have to give the name, key value pair or name and tag and value, tag value, right? So ID, first name, last name, and it generates a JSON file, unloading the data into JSON file. Okay. Unloading table to parquet format. You just say file format type is equal to parquet, then we're good. It generates a packet. Compressed file format, multiple files, performance advantage. Okay. So if you put max file set, this is the max file set 5 GB, right? Sorry guys. Copy into stage. You are generating a single, multiple files is more advantageous than a single file because you have 8 threads and reading individual files of small file sizes is much more performance oriented as a single file of 5 GB. Then all of the 8 threads will go and share the reading of each subset of the file, and then the overhead is more because Snowflake has to maintain which thread is reading what, how is it getting data, and all this stuff. If you have multiple files, right, that's much more advantageous. How do you get into the system? Okay, get, stage, file, so opposite of put. Okay, so this is important part of it. So whenever you are trying to generate multiple files, the naming convention is like XYZ. If you look on the thread, passengers 28M and so part CSV 000 XYZ 02003004005010. So it generates the files like this. Okay.
That is partitioning data, right? Multi-file. Different data.
Partitioning. No, when you unload it, it generates multiple files.
Okay.
But it's not a partitioning there. It's nothing to do with the partitioning part of it. You're just out of the data that you're trying to unload, you are generating multiple files out of the instead of a single file.
Okay.
And X is the so XS, you know, this virtual CPUs that I have told you, right? 8 threads. Each CPU will start a thread and read 16 threads. Medium is 32. We have all this number of threads. X is the server number. So if you have extra small, how many servers will you have?
One.
Extra only one, right? So the server number starts with 0 and Y is this thread. So 0 to 7, that means there are 8 virtual CPUs in the box, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And the sequence number starts with the sequence number is out of the first thread, right? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2. So each thread, when the file size is more, it goes and generates, each of them will start reading and then generate some sequence number. So server number and then the thread number and server number, thread number, and then the sequence number. So there are 8 CPUs, right? First CPU is named 0 and there is only one server that starts with 0. So we'll have 0 underscore. You have out of the 8 CPUs, the first CPU is called 0 underscore, and then whenever reads and then writes the files, right? So it starts with numbering 0, 16 MB is done. Next 001, next 16 MB, 002, next 16 MB, all of 16 MBs. Okay, and the data size is small, then maybe 3 threads are good enough to finish. Or if the data size is medium, then so it keeps on rotating. So there are 8 threads trying to read the data, and one after other it keeps on. And if it tries, if 8 of them will start at the same time and read the data, there is no necessity that 8 of them should finish 16 MB and move on. If the data is less than that, all combined together, 8 into 16, how much? 16 8s are how much? 254, right? 16 into 8, 140, 144. If your total size is less than 144 MB, and then 8 of them will read, and the file sizes you will get partial. Some get 4 MB, 5 MB, 6 MB. So based on the size of the file and the parallel processing, it generates this number of files. Am I able to reach you guys? Are you following me? Okay. So if you're running with 4 nodes, right? Then how many threads you will have? 32 into 8. Okay. So if you're using max file size, right, you will end up running into performance here. Yeah, all 8 of them should read from the table and write it into the same. It should write into the same file, right? There will be what do you call it? Congestion happening. 8 threads writing with same place, same file. It has to wait for the other thread. So maintenance of these threads become much more cumbersome. So don't try to go and read from a single file or write in a single file. Writing into multiple files is much more fast. Okay. How do I combine the multiple? Okay, now let's go and then do some exercise. We'll go and see some sample data. We have store sales table which is of 10 terabytes. I'm gonna copy list of the data from my stage. List of the data from my stage. Okay, so I'm going to create one folder which is data load rate. I'll just say export and then create some folder. Copy into my page. Add the data from my stage slash export slash from select star from. You can directly do it from a table. I'm just writing limit 50. Okay. And what is the warehouse size that I'm using? and I did not give any file format. You can give a file format as well. If you don't give a file format, there is another interview question and so question. If you don't give a file format, it automatically generates a CSV file. List at the rate of my stage. So I got one store sales file. This is of size 813776. And if you look at this one is less than 16 MB, right? If it's more than 16 MB, then you will see multiple files. And what is my warehouse? What is the size of my warehouse that I'm doing it here? What is the size? Select current warehouse. Compute WH is extra small. Okay. If you go to show warehouses like extra small. So this is how you know extra small, right? So if you look at the naming convention, 0, 0, 0. So the first server and the first virtual machine and the sequence number. And how much time it took? It took 14 seconds to load. How much data? 500K. Sorry, 50,000. Okay. Now let's go and then remove RM. Okay. We'll do 500K. These 500K. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000. In 10 seconds, you're able to get the data. And let's go and look at the list. You see now, you have multiple files under this sources. Export sources 000. This is first thread. This is first CPU, virtual CPU, second virtual CPU, third, 4, 5, 6, 7. And each of them are sufficient. So 10 MB, 10 MB. So it split it and they did not go past each of them more than 16 MB. Okay. There is some pattern. I don't remember the pattern. Okay. So nothing is here right now. I'm gonna do this is 500K, right? Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000, 500K. I'm adding one more 0. 5 million. Okay.
Jacob, one question. How will we know whether it is going to generate serial file or multi-file?
We have by default the
Based
single
on the
is equal to
size.
fast. Single is equal to false. By default, there is an option.
Okay. But
You
right now
if
you have generated, right? Multi-file. You need to give that option.
I want to generate only single file, I want to say single is equal to false by default. If it says single is equal to true, then it generates a single file.
But you haven't given just now for generating 7 files as generate 8 files, right? But
No,
we haven't
no,
given.
that is
By default, it's the
no, I
multi-file.
don't need default. I don't need to give that.
Okay.
That is part of the copy unloading thing. That is a default thing. So if you change the property, then it becomes this one. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That is a default value that automatically whenever you do, it does in the same way. And see, and 5 million, how many seconds it took? Now we're going to do an Excel spreadsheet and we're going to compare. Not corresponding. So this is the virtual warehouse size. So we are unloading time seconds. Okay. $5 million, right? Okay. So the first one took how much?
14 seconds.
Yeah. So 14.65. The next one. So this is how much constant? 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, 10.18 seconds. 10.18 seconds. Okay. 5 million. So how much time it took? Fourteen seconds. 14.18. 14.18. Okay. Now let's go and then increase the warehouse size and see how much time it takes to load the same set of data. Okay. So now this one will be Okay. I don't remember the name of this, which is small. I don't have to be. Just give me a second. I just want to have some water. I'm feeling very busy. Give me 1 minute, please. Okay. I'm putting you guys on mute for a minute. I'll just have some water. Pavel, and good day, Nana.
Good day, Mummy. The
Guys, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I was talking on mute for 5 minutes. Sorry. So the exercise that we are going to do, right? The reason I'm putting this one is, right? So whenever you go and start working in your company, right, you have to come up with an optimal warehouse of your data sizes, whether it's loading or unloading. So you have to figure out the best warehouse, which is very optimal means low cost, high throughput. Am I able to reach you guys? So we're going to do it this and then number of seconds and then credit per second, and then total cost, SF edition, price, and then total cost. So based on this, right, we'll do a trial and error. We have to do this when you have different data sizes, different data files that you're trying to ingest into Snowflake, or if you want to unload from Snowflake. See, the stored cells might have 100 columns, 200 columns, or 50 columns. Here, I'm just showing you a real-time scenario of profiling the particular so that you can come up with an optimal warehouse which helps you to load the optimal data set. Got it? So let me go and change the warehouse. Let's have a small, it should be the small, medium. Yeah, QOWH small is there. Or prod WH is there. I'll just say this. Use warehouse. And then, so I'm trying to do it. 500, 500, 5,000, 50,000 is the one first one, right? Yeah, the file is already right. So it says overwrite. Use overwrite to change the name of the file. Overwrite is equal to. So it took me about 500k 10 seconds, 10.27 seconds. 500. So 50,000, 10.27, right? 10.27. Okay. I'm going to do 500. Okay. So it's 5.77 seconds. See, 500k 5.77. And then let's go and see the list of my stage. You have 20 rows. And if you see now, you see the second server also running. Small, it has two servers, right? Previously it was only 0. Now it has one, the other one, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. You can see this now, right? 8 threads, whatever we have spoken, we have seen that 8 threads. So these are all the threads, and then this is the sizes. So it tries to parallelly load and all this stuff. Okay, let's go and then which is 5 million, right?
Size is going to load randomly, or any size we can fix. Each file should be 40 MB like that.
If you are trying to write for a single file, you can fix that. But if it's a multi-file, right, it automatically generates, and the max file size it can generate is, see, 5 million 6 seconds. 5 million is 6 seconds. Small, let's say 50 million, 50,000, and let's say 5 million, 50 million. 50 million. Okay, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000. 50 million is a bigger one, right? So 24 seconds. 24 seconds. Okay. Now I'm gonna increase my warehouse size. Okay. To medium. I have a computer with medium. Okay. You have to find it, right? Hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000. Let's do this. It's 7.2 seconds. Okay. I'm running out of battery. 1 second. Hello. Can you get my battery? I'm just copying it and pasting it. So this medium, medium, medium. Okay. So what is what is the current size that we have? So we have already used medium, right? 50,000, 7.2. This we will find, okay. 4.1 seconds. 5 million. 5.4. And I'm trying 15. 14.4. Okay. This is 50 million, right? Distance, million, I'll give 100 million. 26 seconds. Mhm. 26. 16. Isn't it good? You're trying to get 100 million records in 26 seconds. Isn't it fast? Okay. Which one is computer? Which large? Okay. And then let's see list 100 million records, right? At the rate of my stage, you will have 108 records, and then you can see, right? All of them are 16 MB max kind of thing. Okay. 16 MB, 16 MB, 16 MB. Most of them are 16, others is 12, 15 MB. So you will have different, sorry, virtual CPUs working 3, 4. So there are 3 servers running in this. Now, I don't see a 4th server because medium means how many servers are there? 4 servers. So 3 servers are loading how much data? 100 million records. You're able to say, right? 16, 16, 16, 16. This is 360 is max out and it started at 361. And this is also done. 362. It was do partial. Okay. 370 full. 370 full. 372 partial. So change command value. Then I go from so 8.2 seconds. Okay. And 500K. 2.96. 1 million. Six point four. 50 million. 8.7. And then here we go with 13.6. So the moment this size is double, right? You can look at the timing is becoming half. Okay. Sometimes it might so 20, right? How much time to for small is 6 seconds. For medium 14.6. For 50 million. Sorry, 24. We just did 24. Half of it 14. 12, 14. Half of it something like this. So we'll do one for extra large. We don't have an extra large, right? The roses, yeah, extra small is the extra large. Create compute develop one become So we'll do for 100 million. Level 5. This might be boring, but once we are done with the exercise, right? The content I'm going to tell you, it really helps you out to do 7.75. 7.759. Okay. And we'll do double Excel. This is where the story begins. Okay. Into WH. So this is what 2x. 2x. Okay. Only 5 million and then the 10 million. Not more than 11.5 million to Excel. And how much is the time? 11.12. So can you record the, see here it's 7.5 and we increase the size of, what should normally happen? It should reduce the time, right? Now it's being more. Let's go and do it for 50,000. First we started 50,000, right? 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Let's take 50. $4.34. Okay, let's do it for 100 million. Okay, and then 10.123. Okay, and then 2, 3, and it's 4x. I'm gonna do 5,000 only. Okay. So how much time it normally should take to load the 5,000 rows? It should be pretty fast, right? Then why is it trying to load just the 5,000? The reason is, right, how many servers do you have in 4XL? The last number of servers. Extra small to 4XL, extra small 1, 4XL. Okay, 128. So 128 128 into 8, this many number is trying to read from the table to export 5,000 rows. The management of these servers and this virtual CPU is much more expensive than loading 5,000 records. Am I able to reach you guys? Each thread wakes up and tries to write part of the row, each row, one row. So this is what the calculation is, right? 128 into 8, and there are 1024, and we are trying to load only for 1,000 lines. So it's still trying to load. So it behaves like an autism baby. So extra small, starting from after extra large, double XL, 3XL, and 4XL, right? They can do bigger operations, not for minor ones. Okay. And let's go back. So now we have all the data here. Let's go and then identify. So the price credits per second. I have to like it again. So you see, still going here. 4x large.
Sir, what is the difference between standard and economy that you're choosing for warehouse?
We are going to talk in a big way. Hold on, we'll talk. So some one is very misery, the other one is it depends upon the load that you are getting. Is it okay if my actual warehouse can wait for all the queries to be done? So that is a way that you can set it up. Okay, we will talk in detail about that. I have this architecture diagram. I just want to get the set. 0.003 0.003 $3 cost is equal to 14 star this one or this many number of cups INR. Okay, and then 0.0006 and then 3 and then it might be a boring exercise, but it has a lot of value if you go and start working, and if you're into the core data ingestion team, right, this one will help you a lot. Okay, and then next one is still started 3. the starting took this much time because it has to start all 128 servers, right? So there is a question. Does it an interview question and Snowflake question? So if you want to, if you're starting in small server, extra small and starting a 4XL, are both the same or does it take more time? 4XL definitely takes a lot of time because it has to start all 128 services. No, I think the starting, so it took about 208 seconds. Very nice. 5,000 rows. Five thousand 208 seconds. Okay, let's go back. And then in this particular diagram, right? So we have a medium 0.0011. 0.0011. 0.0011. Okay. This one, right? Large 0.0022. Okay. And extra large 0.0044. Okay. And then 4XL 0.0356. There is double XL as well, right? 0.0089. 4XL 0.0356. 356. Okay. Now let's go. And then we don't need this actually. So 72 star. Okay. Okay. So this is the entire dataset that we have, and then if you are doing with an extra small 5,000 rows, 50,000 rows, 500k rows, it's less than rupee for you guys. This is number of cents and this is the number of rupees. So if you're doing it small, right? So the same 5,000 it's going to cost you this much, and 50,000 it's going to cost you 27, and the 57, can you see this? It's only 28 difference, 500k to 57. Okay, and then if you're doing 5 million, it's going to cost you 1.14 rupees. Okay, and coming to the medium, the 5,001 is having 636 expensive, and then 50k it's 396, 13.39. So for 5 million it's 1.2 rupees, and 100 million it's 2 rupees. Okay, so And the reason why, because when you're trying to do data ingestion, we are talking about the entire tables. You have incremental, you have full load, but first time full load, it might take a lot of time, and then incremental every day you run, and there are about 3,000 tables with you, and then 3,000 incremental jobs. And if you set up a data lake, then you have to come and calculate all this stuff to get the pricing of the data ingestion part, right? So this is what it is. So large 5,000 is 1 rupee, very expensive, and then 50,000 is 51 paise, 500k 1 rupee, and then so 5 million is 1.5, and then 100 million is 2.39. Okay, and this is how it is. So the moment you say 500k, so did you, for 5,000 rupees we have spent 592 rupees by running the 4Excel virtual warehouse. Just for 5,000 rupees, how much did you spend? 592 rupees. That means $7 out of my $400 that is given as credit to me in the trial version. $7 is gone. Okay. So you go and profile for data ingestion, loading or unloading. Small is the best. Try with extra small, small and medium, and go until extra large, large. So if you see, right, 100 million in how many times? 13 seconds. Is this not good enough for you to load? 13 seconds in 100 million records. Okay. So this is how we can profile and then see. And it's so and see. It costs you about 2.39. Here it's going to cost you 4 rupees. So 100 million is going to cost you 7 rupees. It's 2.3 and this is 2.1. So this is 23 seconds medium, but if you look at the pricing, right, 100 million, it's the cost is almost similar, 2.4, 2.31. The number of cents is much not bigger difference, but you see half of the time reduction here. It was running for 26.3 seconds. Now it came down to 13.6 seconds. So whenever somebody asks you a question data ingestion, because once you go bigger with your virtual warehouses, right, the number of servers and the number of virtual CPUs and the threads maintaining by this Snowflake, that becomes much more complex. Which file, which data has been written, to which file it has been written, and then this kind of things, right? The internal management and the consumption of the credits goes to the maintenance of the threads of that particular servers. If you have smaller and medium, that is good enough for you to run the whole thing, right? This is 5 million and it's only 1 rupee. Okay, so it took about 24 seconds. You choose which one you want. This is double. If you're okay with 5 million for 24 seconds, then this is 500k, right? Yeah. It's 5 million only. So 24 seconds. How do you want to burn your credits? How do you identify your data and all this stuff? So which warehouse helps you to burn, and the timing as well. If you're okay with this particular price, 5 million 1 rupee kind of thing, then it's going to cost you how much? 1.26. So, and then the time is 14 seconds, half of it. So how you want to decide or architect, it depends upon this. The budget, everything is based on you, how we want to do. So normally you have a lot of time. So if you're talking about exporting 5 million records or 100 million records in 24 seconds, and you think of working from a Oracle database or SQL Server database, how much time it's going to take you to export this many number of records? So you can go choose the lowest one. You can leave it 25 seconds, 30 seconds, 1, because right now if you're trying to do it, it takes about 1 hour, or at least if you're running in batches, it might take about half an hour to 45 minutes or less than 1 hour or 2. It depends on the size of the table and all this stuff. When you are able to hold for half an hour or 1 hour, why can't you wait for 25 seconds or 30 seconds or 1 minute? Does it make sense? Guys, can you follow this?
Yes.
This is a boring exercise, but if you do like this is how you have to do. You have to do trial and error, run not only with this data ingestion, any query, any activity that you are trying to do, you have to do a trial and error like this. Try to identify the cars, and this one try to identify what is the optimal warehouse for you, and you can choose that one when you're running your queries or whatever it is. So you can use this particular warehouse when you are running this particular job, and then that gives you the lowest number of credits, and then at the same time performance as well. Okay. Any questions on this? And if you look at this, right? So sometimes being bigger is not good. Sometimes being bigger is good. And sometimes there might be query you're running on extra small that finishes in, I'm talking about queries, not this data ingestion. Data ingestion runs by the threads, so it's a different story. When you're trying to talk on a queries, right? If you're trying to run a query, it might you might burn out about 3 rupees. But when you run with a small, right, you may burn out about 2 rupees only. So this kind of thing also happens. If you look at and try to do the costing of it, right? So which one do you prefer? The timing is half of it, and then the price is your less by 2 rupees. Which one do you choose? So this kind of scenarios normally happens with your query processing. Data ingestion, parallel processing, batch jobs, parallel threads running behind the behind the curtain to load your data. That's all good. But when you're running, executing complex SQL conditions and all this stuff, right? Then, so the smaller one might burn you more number of credits than the bigger one. So it might, so this might be 2, and if you go here, this might be 3 again. So you better run this, and if you look at the timing part of it, right, it might have taken about 180 seconds, 3 minutes, and this would have taken 100 or 110, some half of it, and then 2 seconds. So which one do you choose? So so virtual warehouses are very complex to understand. These are like a different autism boys. So autism boys, you know, right, they cannot do smaller. I can get 1 plus 2 plus, they cannot tell you. But if you give 14 digits into 14 digits, they'll tell you pretty fast. So these virtual warehouses are something like this. You have to deal with them very carefully, and this is how you do profiling of the data or trial and error of any SQL statement or data ingestion or anything. This is a valuable exercise that helps you in your real-time scenario. Okay, very good. I would have had this data with me, and then I would have explained. Then you wouldn't know the way that we normally do, right? You don't get it. I say something, you can understand, you can visualize. Now we have seen what I've done, changing the row sizes and calculating the cars and changing the warehouses. So this is how we have to do. Okay. Any questions on this? Now we'll go back and talk about all the performance. Not today because we are running out of time. So we have a little more. So there is no class for today. Sorry, tomorrow. And if you guys are interested, we can have a class in the evening as well. Same way. If you want to wrap up your batch faster, I can have a class. Whomever is interested, right? You can ping me in the WhatsApp, then we can talk to Sindhu. let's have a class tomorrow as well, so that I can wrap up a little more faster this weekend. We'll give a break. So because Monday is a holiday, right? So Monday there won't be class. I have a clash with another meeting, so I cannot take the class. Let's have the Saturday and Sunday as well. You can take a break on Monday. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Sure.
Okay.
So do you have any questions? How do you feel about the exercise that we have done today? Is it valuable? How do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, it was a good exercise to validate each virtual warehouse, how it's performing.
Yeah, you can understand the characteristics of a particular warehouse, different sizes, how do they behave, and this is for data ingestion. You can do the same exercise for a complex, very complex query also, and then you identify optimal warehouse and use that. So there are jobs that run every day, right? Whenever you're trying to run that job, then if you want to, so this is an performance tuning kind of thing. This is an administration activity as well. So you get top 10 SQL queries that are running for a long time, and then they give it to you. Then what will you do? You go and then do that virtual error changes and run your query and try to identify the optimal, and then say, okay, first thing you try to tune the SQL. Second thing, you try to profile the query with the different warehouse, and you get the best combination of it out of it, and then the lowest the burning the credit rate, right? That gives the best thing. That query will get out of the top 10 list. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, then we'll catch up tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Shikhar.
Thank you.